I guarantee you, ESAM
Hi.
probably liked Brawl.
Yeah.
And he didn't do Meta Knight.
Correct. That was ISAM
Okay,
secondary.
and he had a successful career.
Yeah. Okay, so right now we are going to be talking about the Why Brawl Was the Worst Smash video by Hugs86. The link to his video will be in the description down below. Go check him out, subscribe to him. This isn't like a I don't like Hugs thing. Love Hugs, he's great. Samus mains, you know, we got that connection. But I do have some issue with some of the content in this video. Some of it conceptual, just because like of my experience playing all the other Smash games. But we'll get to that. So let's jump into it.
The exact moment where I decided to quit Brawl was when I played a guy named Mojo. All he did was sidestep and then double jab or tilt. I lost to his sidestepping and tilting snake. I knew exactly what he was going to do every time. I couldn't do a goddamn thing about it.
So this is actually, that sentence is actually analogous to a lot of people in Ultimate complaining about spot dodges, saying, oh my god, I can't punish it, even though there's literally multiple frames to punish every spot dodge, and you can always punish a spot dodge, you just have to wait for it and then hit them.
Moves stale like crazy, so the best way for me to deal with a sidestep was doing Rob's down smash.
Or just grab and forward throw.
It just wasn't killing because that was my best answer for it. And then I started trying to use other things, but I couldn't react fast enough. So the whole thing is 33 frames.
So he said earlier that he couldn't react to spot dodge. But assuming an average reaction time, let's go with the average reaction time thing of like 12 to 14 frames. That means he has 19 frames to react, given I think Brawl had a 2 or 3 frame delay. It's similar to Melee. So minus that, you have 16 frames to react and do something. So you can basically do anything that's not really slow to punish a spot dodge. And I'll get to that a little more later. And I guess to kind of just put this out there, I don't think Brawl is a great Smash game. It is in my lower half of the Smash games. I'll get into my ranking of it later in the video. But I'm not saying that Brawl is a good Smash game. So yeah, like Brawl isn't great, but it's not the worst.
Falco, who definitely has tied for the best. Frames 2 through 20 are invulnerable, and he's ready to act as soon as frame 23.
That's busted. That's stupid. That is ridiculously fast. You still can react to it, but spot dodge jab with Falco, there's a couple characters where their spot dodges are actually kind of ludicrous. There's no defense of that.
So basically, he is vulnerable for 5 frames throughout that. Almost all dodges start on frame 2.
So, I'm going to ignore the percentages because they don't, honestly, to me, really matter. In Melee, your spot dodges are invulnerable from frames 2 to 14, as he just mentioned, or generally 2 to 14, and they last between, it looks like 22, or from relevant characters, like 27 frames. I think there's some more down here, but the best ones, you have 8 frames to punish them at the end, and that's good. And I'm not saying that's not good, right? However, if something is only 22 frames, you actually have to read it. Like in Melee, if you're hitting a spot dodge, you're either throwing out a lingering move already, or you're just predicting it and then punishing it. Like, the thing is, and I guess this is when I'll talk about it, I would much rather have a spot dodge that lasts longer and is more percent-wise invincible, but has more literal frames to punish it than a fast but punishable spot dodge. Like, I would rather have a spot dodge that is consistently like 35 frames and is vulnerable starting frame 30. So you have 5 frames to punish it, which isn't that much, right? That's not like a big window, but you can react to it and punish it, as opposed to like you can do 3 spot dodges in a second in Melee. Like, you can't react to that, which is one of the reasons why, at least as Samus, right? Like, Samus's like sidestep down smash is so good because you can't, like, you have to guess. You have to guess. You cannot react. It's faster than ultimate spot dodges, I'm pretty sure. Like, and I think in this game there's a similar problem, right? Like, 19 frames of a spot dodge? That's not a lot. Like, 19 frames if it's attack canceled. 24, that's not a lot, right? Like, that's the actual problem with spot dodges in this game. It's not really spot dodge canceling. I guess it is because it makes it 5 frames faster. But, like, having really fast spot dodges with not a lot of lag, like, it doesn't matter how invincible they are. It matters how fast they are. Because if you have a really, really fast spot dodge, you're not reacting to it. Like, you can confirm it. Like, I definitely hit a bunch of spot dodges when I predict people to spot dodge and I, like, grab them. So, like, it is possible. But things like ultimate spot dodge and melee spot dodge are, in my opinion, worse overall than, worse as in they're, like, objectively better of something to do than Brawl spot dodge, which is longer overall, but have more invincibility. Just since we're on the topic, I would still much rather have good spot dodges than good rolls. The biggest problem with Smash 4 is the fact that rolls were broken and they didn't stale. So basically, you would have to guess if your opponent was going to go entirely past you, entirely behind you, or throw a move out, or like grab or something like that, which was really, really annoying. Spot dodge being the best defensive mechanic is really, really helpful because if you're right, they're standing right there, it's the easiest to punish, like generally, as opposed to rolls, which are not. You have to guess. So again, like I don't think the percentages are really that important. It's more so the speed of them. That's my biggest problem. Like I would like Brawl Falco spot dodge was stupid because it was basically as fast as this with more invincibility, and that's what made it broken. So the couple people that had the best spot dodge in the game, kind of toxic.
In a game that is actually slower than Melee, Bowser has a better spot dodge than Sheik, than Samus, Fox.
I don't think that's true. I think it is objectively worse because it lasts longer. So even though there's more invincibility, like if you time the spot dodge, yeah, you've avoided the move or it's a little easier, but you can easily punish Bowser's spot dodge a lot more than you can any of the best characters in Melee, even some of the worst characters in Melee. But like because they're so fast, you have to guess basically, especially considering there are things like spot dodge shine in this game, which are frame 1.
I want you to think about the fact that you're fighting the slowest character in that game and he manages to spot dodge better than the fastest characters in this game. In a game where you have more tools to punish something fast, these spot dodges are worse. Whereas in Brawl, where you don't have the tools, you got characters like Bowser dodging your shit.
You actually have plenty of fast tools in Brawl. In fact, Brawl's frame data is stupid. Brawl Olimar up smash was frame it's frame 8. So like a really, really dumb giant move is frame 8. There are plenty of really, really fast moves in Brawl. You have Falco, like of course grabs in general are frame 6 or 7. You have Falco's jab, which was frame 2. You have plenty of aerials that are frame like 3. You have Meta Knight's forward tilt, which was stupid fast. Like it's crazy how like fast a lot of stuff in Brawl was. There were plenty of ways to deal with spot dodging. So Snake, his spot dodge ends on 26. So he has 6 frames to punish, which again, -12, -3 because of delay. You have an 11 frame window to see it and punish it, which is pretty doable. That is punishable.
Now let's take a look at my best answers as a Rob player. So if I want to down smash, which is my only answer because I don't have to time it, I could just predict.
He just said the only thing that you could punish a spot dodge with was the thing that you don't have to time, as opposed to just timing your punish like you have to do in every Smash game. Like obviously down smash is a really good punish, I'm not going to deny that. But saying it's the only punish is disingenuous. So no, he was just being lazy.
Down smash starts on frame 4. Right? Because if you look at these other ones, like let's say a forward smash, right? The hitboxes are only active between 13 and 14.
God forbid you time a move in a 6 frame vulnerable, like in his example, a 6 frame vulnerable window that has 2, that's a 7 frame window. That's a lot. Granted, don't forward smash a spot dodge. I don't think you'll be able to react to that in time. But if there's spot dodge doing a move, then like, yeah, you probably will.
But I have to time it in a way where the 13th frame hits by the time he's invulnerable in that 5 frame window.
That's
I have
just
to see
an
the spot
average
dodge,
punish.
React.
Granted, again, forward smash is a hard punish. I'm not going to deny that, but you can just like forward tilt.
To get a kill, by the way, that's what I'm saying. Because there are no combos, right? I can't just jab into weak forward air, into turnaround back air to get a KO, because that's not how this game works.
That's fair.
This game only works around neutral. So if a character's constantly spot dodging, I don't get the luxury of setting up for a KO. I have to do one move to get the KO a lot of the time.
There's a slight contradiction, which is what he says, which is like, oh, I have to punish with down smash because it's the easiest one, which is fair, it is the easiest one. But he goes, yeah, you have to punish with spot dodge, and then it stales so it doesn't get a kill. It's like, okay, well then at lower percents, don't punish spot dodge with down smash, do it with forward tilt, or grab, or forward air. Or down tilt. I don't remember how good these moves were. Rob wasn't a great character, if I'm being honest. Like, there are plenty of tools to hit people for spot dodging, and then you're in advantage. Like, advantage was really, really big in Brawl, and granted, he says later he only played for like 2 years, which was before a lot of stuff got like people got better at it. Like, pre-MLG era Brawl was like kind of rough.
If I'm a Fox, I could get a shine. I can react with the shine. I can do a lot of fast things that get me the
You're a Samus main! What we do to punish spot dodge is forward tilt someone. He plays a neutral character. Do y'all know how Hugs plays Melee? He plays neutral the whole time. Which is fine. Like, right, that's fine. But like, he plays all he does is play neutral. How is he gonna complain Now he's going to talk about Fox. He's not Fox. He's a Samus player. If he's going to talk about Rob specifically in the example, you know.
Take advantage of this crazy fast spot dodge. How in the world is a spot dodge faster in Brawl than it is in Melee? In a game that can't actually handle it.
It's not faster. They end slower. They literally end, except for Falco's apparently. Like, Snake's spot dodge ends on frame 26, as he said. Melee's best spot dodges end on frame 22. So that's slower and harder to punish, even if there's a bigger window.
I will tell you right now, the only people who look at
This
Brawl
is really funny.
romantically, right? They look at Brawl and they think, wow, what a great game, are literally people who mained Meta Knight or co-mained Meta Knight, or found no success in future games.
A lot of the people that are like very, very gung-ho on Brawl were Meta Knight mains, 100%. Especially now that Ultimate came out. Like, a lot of people in Smash 4 looked at Brawl romantically because they missed their character. A lot of Wolf mains, a lot of Snake mains, you know, Ice Climbers mains. Like, the characters that weren't in Smash 4, or they got, like, completely different. But once Ultimate came out, a lot of people were like, oh yeah, we have our characters again, so we're fine, we're chilling.
That is it. You find me a player.
I ain't denying that Melee's worse than Brawl. I preferred Brawl to Melee for a long time, but, like, Melee's a better game.
Where the only two viable characters were realistically Meta Knight and Ice Climbers.
I'm not going to get into that argument because basically my TLDR of this argument of like the top two is the only character, like Meta Knight, Ice Climbers. Meta Knight was so good on so many stages that we had to ban them instead of banning Meta Knight, which then made Ice Climbers broken because they had no counter picks against them. So they just got to run free. And they basically got 2 counter picks every single set. Every single set, they got 2 counter picks. Which then screwed over a lot of things. And also the characters that did well versus Ice Climbers were like Yoshi, Toon Link, and they were better on the weird stages, which were banned because of Meta Knight. But like, there's a lot of broken characters in Brawl. Like, the balance was not great, especially from top to bottom. It was so stratified.
Brawl is such a bad game, and here I am showing you the frame data to prove it to you.
He's not proving anything with the frame data.
Lost
the
to
dragon
a
is
snake
cute
that would just sidestep and tilt me till the end of time.
because he's bad and couldn't beat a single strategy. If you can't beat a single strategy in any fighting game, it's on you. It's not the game. It's you.
It doesn't even get into other problems with the game, like tripping,
Tripping stupid.
like the lack of character diversity because Meta Knight just destroyed the game.
The top 10 of Brawl, like 4 or 5 of them are Meta Knight players. But then there was me, a Pikachu main, Redacted, a Snake main, ADHD, a Diddy main, Dabuz, I think, was top 10, and Olimar main, or at least like Neotono. Like, there were plenty. Like, the relevant characters in Brawl ended up being Meta Knight, Ice Climbers, Olimar, Falco, Diddy, Pika, Marth, Wario, Day-to-Day, Zero Suit. Like, Larry Lur or Def was really good. There was plenty of diversity. It was just half of every, like, top 32 was, like, Meta Knight, which is crazy. And that's dumb, and I'm not going to deny that. But also, there were less Ice Climbers than people like you to believe. There was only, like, 4 top Ice Climbers players because there was QB, there was me, there was Vinny, and there was Nakat, and, like, that was it. There was a couple other ones, but, like, realistically, like, once the meta, like, solidified.
Oh, not only that, but do you know how much worse it is that you're giving all these defensive options power while also having a system that severely stales moves more than any other Smash game has, I'm pretty sure, to the point where if you use a move twice, it is, I don't know the percentage, but it is so much more unlikely to actually get a KO.
This is true. Brawl staling was ass. Brawl staling was super bad and literally one of the worst things about the game, in my opinion, in terms of, like, mechanics. Because, like, the way it worked, and I'll go into a little bit more detail, is that, like, basically, if you used a move and it didn't kill, and you got put in the exact same position and DI'd the exact same way and they used the exact same move, it still wouldn't kill. Basically for every move, even moves with, like, good knockback growth. Like, if you lived a Snake up tilt, and then went right next to him in the exact same spot and then got up tilted again, you would not die. Staling was so intense in Brawl. And it definitely made stocks last longer. That, of course, with, like, momentum canceling and stuff like that.
So, like, the idea is cool, right? You're supposed to have diversity in your plan of attack to not stale your moves, but in Brawl it was excessive. It's like, if you're gonna encourage diversity of attack by adding a staling system, then you need to give me more than 2 moves to deal with the situation.
That just sounds like your character sucks. If your character only has 2 kill moves, that's a bad character. That's not the game's fault inherently, that's just you gotta pick a better character.
The only move I have to deal with the sidestepping situation is down smash. In a game where I can't even edgeguard, right? You see how this compounds?
You can definitely edgeguard Snake. Snake is one of, like, the most edgeguardable characters that were relevant in Brawl. Snake you keep in disadvantage for forever. I would hit Snake, well, I had a chain grab, but it doesn't count. But, like, most characters would hit Snake and then just keep him in the air for like a whole ass stock because he had to go high and then land on you. So you would just hit him.
It's like, 1, I can't kill because my move's stale. 2, I can't use other moves because the defensive options are so powerful that I can't do anything about it.
I just don't agree with that statement.
So I gotta use what I gotta use to do anything. But then they won't kill because they're staling. And then it's like, alright, fine. Well, I get them off stage. Maybe I can edgeguard. Well, no, you can't really edgeguard because the game is trash and it gives everyone just overblown recoveries.
I think the only characters that were relevant with good recoveries were like Pika and Meta Knight. Because like Ice Slammer's recovery was okay. I mean, Side B was really good. Olimar's recovery was bad. Falco's recovery was bad. Diddy's recovery was pretty good, I think. Right? Diddy's recovery was good. Day-to-Day's recovery was okay. Because again, you just like grabbed ledge because you could edge hog. Marth's recovery was meh. Because again, you just grabbed ledge and then punished them. Wario's recovery was pretty good. Bike was like always there. That one's true. Snake's recovery, you didn't kill him low for the most part, but you could also footstool C4. So like most characters actually didn't have a good recovery. It was just lol Meta Knight existed. So like you couldn't edgeguard Meta Knight unless you were Meta Knight.
Where's my answer to this situation? What can I possibly do?
The answer: have an advantage state as opposed to a combo state. One of the things that I learned very, very heavily because of Brawl and has led me and a bunch of other players to success in the other Smash games is the fact that you don't just have to 0 to death people in order to like get a stock without getting hit. There are plenty of opportunities to hit them twice, put them in a bad situation, edge trap. Well, like, edge trapping wasn't in Brawl, but like the concept, right? Edge trap or juggle them for a full stock as opposed to having to kill them. Because like we're aware that there's like option covers and stuff like that, and you don't have to just kill someone. Like you don't have to hit them and kill them, right? Like certain characters have combos in Brawl. I mean, of course you had a bunch of chain grabs because you like Diddy's Infinite, Meta Knight had chain grabs, or Meta Knight had combos, Ice Climbers had chain grabs, Pikachu had chain grabs and combos, Falco had chain grabs, Zero Suit had combos, Day-to-Day had chain grabs. So like most of the relevant cast had like something. The only one that really didn't was Snake, but that's because Snake had down throw. And like his moves were like egregiously big, and he was the best or second or third best camper. Because like Olimar was better, Falco was better, maybe Diddy was better. Diddy was broken. The problem is if you didn't play one of the relevant characters in Brawl, like you weren't playing the game, like at all. Like you could not play like Game & Watch or Pit or Fox unless you were TKD, or you couldn't even play Wolf. Like none of those characters ever did anything like actually back when people played Brawl. Like there were plenty of, damaging combos. It's just he played Rob. And Rob wasn't really good.
And then people are like, well, the good players say it was good. Yeah, they all mained fucking Meta Knight. As a Meta Knight main, this game was fine. Because you could just do whatever the fuck you want.
Meta Knight was so fun. When I think the last time I played Brawl, so Smash 4 came out. I played Brawl that next SmashCon and got second. With like the Mewtwo King set where I go Bowser. Which is like randomly, I think my most viewed VOD ever for some reason. And then the next year I entered... I like didn't have fun with it, and I lost like round 2 because I wasn't having fun. And then I warmed someone up. I think I warmed ADHD up for his like top 8 qualifier set with Meta Knight in like a game, and I was like, oh man, this character's fun. Wow, Meta Knight is sick. Like Meta Knight, in terms of playing in, is one of the sickest characters to play in Smash. He can do literally anything and everything he wants, and then has Tornado and up B. No, but like playing against him was like playing him optimally was boring because it ended up just being down air camping and like Scrooging and stuff like that. Like Meta Knight was toxic. Loved playing him that one time. Like I'd never played ADHD as Meta Knight ever, and I like beat him in 2 games, and I'm like, I don't play this character. Like I didn't play Meta Knight.
So then you're like, okay, well if they don't KO, at least they launch them so I can start an edgeguard. Well, no, this game doesn't really let you edgeguard that well.
It does. Marth edgeguarded, Pikachu edgeguarded, obviously Meta Knight edgeguarded. I even edgeguarded as Ice Climbers. Zero Suit could edgeguard. Wario could edgeguard. There are plenty of characters that could edgeguard in that game. You just had to play a relevant character. But also, you have to do that in every fighting game. You can't complain that a game is bad if you're playing you can't complain, in my opinion, that a competitive fighting game is bad if you're playing a character that doesn't let you play the game. I don't say Melee is a bad game because I don't think Samus is good enough. I just say I don't want to play Melee because I want to play Samus, but she's not good enough, so I'm not going to play the game.
But for the most part, all of those characters could be replaced by either Meta Knight or the only character that actually hangs with Meta Knight, which was Ice Climbers. I'm giving you numbers, and I'm giving you, like, facts and things that happened during the longevity of that game. That game is trash.
He's being hella subjective and being like, numbers, even though the numbers don't mean anything. He didn't even look at Meta Knight. He didn't look at any actual frame data. He just said spot dodge. As if spot dodging was actually a problem in Brawl. Like, spot dodging wasn't a problem in Brawl, except for, again, Falco and Day-to-Day. Their spot dodges were broken. Everyone knew that. It doesn't make the entirety of Brawl bad. And again, I don't think Brawl was the top half of Smash games. I think that Ultimate, Melee, and Smash 4 are better, although I think it is better than... I think the worst Smash game is Smash 3DS because, at least in my head, I know this isn't technically true, but in my head, Smash 3DS was pre-patch Smash 4 on the 3DS before Wii U came out. So you had easily the most broken Smash game. Like, Smash 4 pre-patch was awful. It was awful. That game was bad. Like, Smash 4 wasn't a great Smash game, but pre-patch Smash 4 with Sheik, with edge cancelable bouncing fish, Toon Link the way he was, Greninja the way he was, Diddy and Sheik and Rosa the way they were. Like, I think Luma had like a 6-second respawn timer on 3DS. It was so stupid. Like, just no one could do anything because it was such an imprecise thing because the 3DS was a bad controller, which is honestly one of the worst things about it. Obviously. Like, Smash 3DS was the worst Smash. I personally think 64 is a bad game because even though it's technically balanced, everyone dies in one hit, so it becomes like the most defensive Smash game, like a significantly more defensive Smash game than Brawl. 64 is not fun because all it is camping on platforms as every character. Or Kirby's below trying to up tilt you, but like, it ends up just being camping because you just die. So then Brawl's next. Like, Brawl is the third worst Smash game to me. Because like, Brawl had a lot of problems with it. Granted, most of them could be solved with Meta Knight being banned, which again, still pro ban. Well, always going to be pro ban. Like, there was plenty of good stuff, and it really set the stage for what Smash in the future was going to be, and it made, like, all the top players in Brawl were basically good at least for one other Smash game. Plenty of good players stayed good because of what we had to learn in Brawl. And, like, that is 100% true.
I guarantee you, ESAM
Hi.
probably liked Brawl.
Yeah.
And he didn't do Meta Knight.
Correct. That was Ice Cream secondary.
And he had a successful career.
Yeah.
Right?
Thanks.
He still did well. And he's done well at other games after that, right?
And in Melee.
But is he going to call it the best Smash game? I don't think he would.
Nope. He's right.
I don't think he would.
I don't think anyone calls
now
Brawl
you
the
know
best
where the
Smash
hate
game.
comes from. Because they see Melee, and they see when a Fox gets a neutral win, or a Marth gets a neutral win, they get all kinds of damage into the KO. Okay, fair. Melee is really based on a combo game, but the neutral is extremely intricate and deep because every character has so many options to play the neutral. Finally get the open, and then you only get access to an extremely complex punish game where you have to respond to DI, you have to respond to percentages, right? You have to respond to counters in the middle of your in the middle of your string of attack. You have to play this extremely complex neutral to get access to this extremely complicated punish game, where the punish game might not lead to a KO, so then you go back into neutral, and then you got to play this really complex neutral once again. They say, oh, it was all about neutral. Well, that's because the punish game was fucking trash.
Generally, yeah, he's not wrong. The punish game was weaker. But, again, the thing is, advantage state was super big in that game, unless you're fighting against Meta Knight. So, like, you could easily hit someone and kill them, like, off of one neutral win. It's just generally the worst players didn't, and at the beginning of the game, you didn't. But, like, Falco would zero-to-death people. Ice Climbers, of course, had zero-to-deaths constantly. Diddy had, like, you had hella punishes, and you had advantage. You clearly have plenty of options in Brawl. It was just, you generally killed later. So you're going to have more neutral interaction. Because also your best neutral tools generally weren't combo tools, which is the thing. Like, in Melee, the best neutral tools are also your combo tools. Because you have, like, dash grab and stuff like that. You have Marth forward air, or, like, down tilt to knock people down. You have Fox nair or drill into shine, into everything. You have Falco laser, deep complex neutral laser. Like, a lot of the best tools to use in neutral in Melee are also your combo tools, whereas in Brawl they weren't, except for grab, for the most part. Like, certain characters did, like Olimar up smash, but like Falco jab grab wasn't a real combo. Grabs were so good in this game that, like, you had to avoid them at all costs, which means you were just throwing out whatever you could over here.
It's like once you got into that punish game, you're going to get 1 or 2 hits, and then you're back to neutral because the game forces you to do that. It's not your choice. You're just forced to constantly play neutral.
One thing that I've noticed is Melee players don't actually understand a lot of what advantage is, because when they, like, the thing is, because ledge dashing is such a big thing, like, your main disadvantage, like, if you're above someone, you're getting comboed. There's no disadvantage. You're just getting comboed. Whereas if you're on the side of someone, like, off stage, it's edge guarding, which is a little different. And then once you make it to ledge, you're an advantage as a Melee character, as Fox, as Falco, as Puff, not Peach. Pika, like, you have to, do the ledge dash, of course, but, like, you're an advantage. because you have invincibility and then can throw a move out. Like, you're still in the corner, but it's not as big of a deal. And Brawl, of course, had planking, as most characters, but, like, you would still stand slightly away from the ledge and keep people in disadvantage for, like, a long time. Like, I would edge trap, essentially, the hell out of characters. I would edge guard. Like, there's plenty of stuff to deal with people being on ledge in Brawl. So, like, advantage state was a really, really big thing. It just sometimes you had to wait for them to re-grab the ledge 4 times because of the way Brawl worked. even Pete could do it. Like, I did, like, drop off up air and then quick attack to ledge, and it was so hard to deal with.
Because, and also the way the game works with the floatiness and the speed mechanics, etc., you don't actually have a robust set of tools to play the neutral the way that you do in Melee.
Yeah, you do. You just can't kill people off of it if one hit. Like, you have to just win neutral. It's like a fighting game where you're just poking, was a lot of it. But then, of course, again, every character had their strong combos. If you got short hop up aired by Meta Knight, you took 60 or died to Rufio. You had Pikachu, like, again, every good character basically had a big damage combo, except for Snake, but also Snake's individual moves did so much damage, and Grenade did like 12 or something on stale. So, like, he dealt the damage before you even got to him. There was a lot of good combos in Brawl. It was just shield grabbing was really good, because grabs were so good. So if you messed up, you got grabbed and you died.
They're just kind of... Some people are saying that because you just had the opportunity to play neutral so much because the punish game was such ass.
I learned how to play neutral hella well. Neutral's important. Then I just back air in this game. I go back air, go...
But then once you're in it, the neutral game's not nearly as rewarding as it is in Melee.
The neutral game is less rewarding to him because the punish game doesn't exist, but the neutral is still rewarding. You're just not killing people off it because of punish game. You can't say the neutral's bad because the punish game is bad.
By the way, I'm not even including the fact that within neutral you could also trip.
Tripping was ass. Tripping is so ass.
And you know what people would say back in the day? They would say, well, if you're tripping too much, you should walk more.
That was the argument. 100%. As an Ice Climber player, I walked a lot because I didn't want to trip. Because I didn't want a Nana to die. Like, straight up, that's 100% accurate. Literally everyone said that. And it was so annoying. I remember the funniest thing is whatever he talked about, like the E3 thing that he went to, that he played Brawl, there was this... People didn't realize what tripping was. So they were like, oh my god, there's this advanced technique where you gain invincibility called ink dropping. Because I guess the person that did it was named Ink or something like that. I don't remember. But so before Brawl came out, we thought there was this advanced tech that you randomly gained invincibility, and no one was like, well, everyone's like, what, that's crazy, that's so cool. And then we realized it was tripping and we were really upset about it.
That's what you're telling me? That's what makes this game good? That's what makes me small brain and I have to figure it out to play this game properly? Get the fuck out of here. I don't know how many different ways I could say it. I've never put how much I hate this game into words. And I competed at a level where I understand what Smash is all about, and this game's trash.
Understanding what Melee is all about is not the same thing as understanding what Smash is all about. Melee is not all of Smash Brothers. In fact, Melee is the most unique of the Smash Bros. Games. So if you're a Brawl Smash 4 Ultimate player, that's 3 games. Melee is 1. If you're good at Melee, that does not make you good at Smash, it makes you good at Melee. That statement is very loaded, and that is why there was so much anger in Melee versus Brawl or Smash 4. Melee is Melee, and Melee is great, and I'm not going to deny that Melee is a great game, but Melee is not the entirety of Smash Brothers, and a lot of Melee players did, at the very least, believe that, and that's the problem.
I will never say that about Ultimate, because Ultimate was not trash.
Yeah, Ultimate.
If we're talking about whether Brawl was good, I'd say nay.
Because also, when there was a game that combined Melee and Brawl, which was PM, because there was some Brawl mechanics, Brawl characters, etc. Brawl players did really well in PM once it came out. Like, you had Mewtwo King and Armada, but also Mewtwo King was a Brawl, like, he was a Brawl and Melee player. Armada was very good, but then you had top players like Pink Fresh, who is a Brawl player, and Junebug, who is a Brawl player, and me, who is more so a Brawl player. You had plenty of Coney, who was a Brawl player. You had plenty of top players in PM that were Brawl players, whereas Melee players tended to not succeed in that game for a very long time, and especially not now. In the middle ground, who ended up winning? Neutral, baby. So basically, my summation is, while Brawl wasn't a great game, if you didn't play Brawl after 2010, you don't really know what you're talking about, unfortunately, because the game got so different and so optimized in terms of combos and in terms of tech that people did. Like, Brawl had a lot of bad things, and I'm not going to deny that, which is why I don't play Brawl. And anytime anyone's like, you should play Brawl, I say no, because I don't want to play Brawl, because Brawl sucks. But complaining about spot dodges that weren't Day-to-Days or Falcos is dumb. Complaining that you play a bad character is dumb, because if you're a competitive fighting game player, you can't say a game is bad because a character is bad. That doesn't make sense. Like, that's just not a valid argument, because you're not playing the game, right? Like, you're not really playing the game. Like, Sanford Kelly, pick a top tier. There's a reason why people say that, right? Brawl set up so many players for success, not because we necessarily do well in that game, but because we learned advantage. We learned positional advantage way more than I ever learned from Melee. At least back then. Like, Melee now is a little bit more concerned about position, but that's because, like, people got, this is like people got better shield dropping and stuff like that. And there was a lot more positional stuff, but also people still die in one hit. Brawl was pretty solid. It was clearly different, and I'm not going to say better than Melee. It's worse than Melee. But Brawl had a lot of things going for it that set up a lot of people for being better fighting game players, as opposed to better Melee players.